Hello, everyone. Hi. Are you guys enjoying your night?
Yes.
Yay, that's good. First off, thank you to Nestor for gathering this event. I've had the opportunity to perform here now for the first time and the Steppenwolf. And it's kind of crazy to have a stage by yourself. I feel like I should have incorporated like movement of some sort, but hopefully my piece will move you. So this piece is called Inconvenience. In Chicago, there is a neighborhood called Logan Square. It's on the north side with its epicenter at the intersection of Kedzie, Milwaukee, and Logan. The intersection forms a roundabout which circles a monument, the square, built to commemorate 100 years of Illinois statehood. There's a long, plain, vertical column topped with a stone eagle that overlooks Kedzie as it stretches southward. The column is nestled by a modest plaza consisting of several benches, short trees, and steps where skateboarders practice. Streets that connect to the roundabout house a church, classic bungalows, and one leads to the park on Kimball. Further up Kedzie, there was a hopscotch flow of stores and boarded up buildings. Boutiques to get 5-inch heels with cheap paint jobs. Logan Theater before it had decorated bathrooms and a cushion-lined bar. Right before the roundabout, there's a McDonald's, a Chase Bank, a bookstore, and the Blue Line station, which dominates the corner with fluorescent lights and a throughway for buses. Further down, right before California, there's a colossal megamart that takes up half the block. On one corner of Milwaukee, there's a public health clinic that could pass for a foreclosed home. It's 2010 and the sun is long gone. I cut across the plaza to get to Natalia's house right down Fullerton. The plaza is comprised of only silhouettes, and at first glance, it's deserted. As I'm halfway across, a blaze goes up as several figures in the plaza light a large paper bag on fire in front of the statue. I see their faces light up, and I see them shift my way. I run the rest of the way to Natalia's house. I wouldn't walk around there. I wouldn't walk around after dark around there. It's probably the safest way to designate an unsafe neighborhood. Not so much a judgment call about the people living there. I'd say that we in Logan Square back then had more than once heard gunshots coming from outside, knew that on occasion there were corners that you avoided since that's where street gangs staked out their territory. Kind of inconvenient when you're trying to get to your friend's house. These became knowledge insights, knowledge harvested from a place that summoned circumstances that shaped your personal experience. Tickets at the Logan back then cost $5 and popcorn was $2.50. The same guy manned the ticket booth, and as I walked toward the popcorn stand, he ran over to serve us the popcorn as well, and right after calling down to the queue at the ticket booth to hold on for a minute, ushered us to the theater. Same guy, and when I looked, his name tag said manager. The floor of the theaters were perpetually sticky. Ever since my friend Mitzi felt something crawl across her feet during the movie, we watched the movies with our feet up on the seats. Satisfaction is knowing a low-key spot where you can get an awesome deal. You had to put up with some jankiness, but that was part of the charm. Especially when your budget hit $20 on a good day, spots like this felt like they were made for you. In fact, in a lot of ways, I preferred when the Logan was this gross, before the renovations. My teen years were spent hiking through thrift stores, finding and sometimes stealing the ugliest sweaters we could find, and finding alleys where we could light up without being seen. Not so much anymore. So the Logan was pretty convenient for finding something to do that wasn't those things. All things considered, a movie night at the Logan was a classy night out, even if there was only a single bathroom with a naked light bulb. In 2 different conversations with friends who were white, the same disregard repeated itself. Both times, these friends were moving to Logan Square, and we had initiated a conversation on gentrification. I told them they were now playing an active role in gentrification, and both times the response was, "I know, I feel bad, but ... with the unsaid punctuation of, "but I'm gonna do it anyway." Often, the rationale centered on convenience and allure, things that all millennials could relate to. Cheap rent, easy access to the train, and friends who live in the neighborhood. Supposing that these types of conversations turned impromptu treaties on why whiteness should be allowed to dominate, considering that these conversations value convenience as valid rationale, there are some inconveniences that should probably be taken into account. There is the inconvenience of property values going up, inconvenience of being displaced from your place of living, the inconvenience of packing all your belongings, of having to reconsider which buses and trains you have to take to get to school, or the inconvenience of living out of boxes for a few nights, of having to remind your friends that your address has changed again for the third time in as many years. These things, if we are considering convenience as the currency that determines validity in this conversation of displacement, are a pain in the ass. The 10 seconds that it takes to explain how I already know about the Logan Theater and how cheap its tickets are. The minutes it takes to scan the website of a Logan Square music festival and realize that these festivals were never in the square before it was gentrified. These are ticks of the clock that I can't get back, and it's a pain and it's a waste of my time. Well, maybe not all a waste. I reclaim those minutes now as I write and speak. These are the minutes where place and memory live. That displacement has not wiped away the incidents and associations of that place that I hold. It's the same displacement that immigrants and refugees around the world confront on a daily basis. Living inside the oceanic tides of war, money, famine, family, and borders are phantom locations. Even writing becomes weighed with the inconvenience of necessity, the burden to record the square as I remember it. Because I have to. Because to reallocate that mind space where I remember, where I am still running across the square, where the soles of my shoes are sticky with spilled soda, is to do a disservice to the place that was once called home, to a place that is in some way still my home. Thank you.